Welcome to the Franklin Capital Investment Committee meeting for Wednesday, April 23rd, 2014. First item that we have on our agenda is to approve the minutes from March 26th.
Move for approval. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item. Motion passes for approval of minutes. Next item. Consideration of sewer availability request for 455 Franklin Road. It's map 53, parcel 24. Mr. Parker.
This is similar to what you had last night at the board meeting, and that they're asking for denial, and that's the recommendation.
Do we have to move it to the full board?
Yes.
So I make a motion, we move this to the full board for denial.
Okay.
Approval of the denial. Second.
Proper motion by Alderman Blanton and seconded by Alderman Peterson. Any discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the item passes unanimously?
She didn't vote, so it
You
doesn't matter.
didn't vote, okay.
Yeah.
3 to
I gotta look at my,
3 to whatever.
which
So
one were we voting
Denying
on?
sewer availability.
we denied sewer availability again.
Yes, I would agree with that, yes.
Okay. All right, item 3, consideration of amendment number 1 to the professional services agreement, City of Franklin contract number 2013-0176 with URS Corporation for the Charlton Green Sanitary Sewer Charlton Green Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project in the amount of $14,105.
This is to add to the services an additional line that we want to get redone, and recommendation is to approve.
So moved.
Okay, got it.
Question. Is this currently under our budget?
It come out of water
for
and sewer's
yeah,
budget, yes.
still within that budget for the year?
Yes, it's with that, that's where the.
2013, 2014, okay, just,
Yes.
I want to check that.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, we got a proper motion. If there's no more discussion, everybody that's in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Passes unanimously. Item number 5, consideration of
4.
4, excuse me. Consideration of resolution 2014-30, a resolution to extend the City of Franklin's annual contract for roadway repairs and improvements for called bonds. CDF 2012-0043.
Just address the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. They're all annual contracts that we have for work. This will be the last year for these contracts. The contractors have all agreed to the extension. Next year, we'll be rebidding the contracts.
Okay.
So this is the end of the third year?
Yes.
So can we put these all together, or no, not necessarily? No?
No, we'll do it quickly. Okay. Proper motion?
She's making it.
We did that.
You just don't have to listen to me.
Second, go ahead.
Go ahead, second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes?
No, sir.
Motion passes unanimously. Item number 5?
Your turn, yep.
5. Consideration of resolution 2014-31A, resolution to extend the City of Franklin's annual contract for concrete curbs and sidewalks.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, proper motion's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item passes unanimously. Number 6, consideration of resolution 2014-32, a resolution to extend City of Franklin's annual contract for roadway maintenance and drainage stone. Do I have a motion?
For approval.
Second.
Okay, have a proper motion and second. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 The motion passes unanimously. Consideration of resolution 2014-33, a resolution to extend the City of Franklin's annual contract for general construction of roadway repairs and resurfacing.
Move for approval.
Second.
Question. What other, this is number 7, right?
Yes.
Number
Mhm.
7. Whoops, I'm ahead of myself here. Where's number 7? I'm sorry. Okay. The roadway repairs that we're still doing and the resurfacing, do we get a list of that? Is that just, how many more of these do we have to do under this contract?
I'm actually.
Well,
I'm
will-
just curious.
You have an
Um,
annual amount that you have
Right.
budgeted
And-
to do it, and I'm sure Mr. York will spend every penny of that that he can,
I'm just-
based on the amounts as
Listen to him
comes
talk
forward
about
in
it.
this.
I'm just wondering how
Contract.
many more we can get in under this contract.
How many more roads?
Yeah, road resurfacing. Can we get in under this contract?
Well, we have a list that we're finishing up this year. As you recall, about 5 years ago, we did an overall list of all the streets throughout the city,
Right.
dependent on funding. But the funding has not been there but only 1 year. This year, we asked for $3 million. If you may recall, it's already been cut by $1.3 million.
Or
So
1.3?
So that just puts us farther behind. So we're in the process of revisiting to just see how many streets we can actually get done next year if we don't get any more money for that. But this is an annual contract, it goes through every year.
Yeah. How far are we behind?
We started out on a 12-year cycle. We're at about a 20 to 25-year cycle now. And as we all know, the roads aren't going to last that long. So the roads are getting in bad shape, but there's nothing we can do. We're right now starting to kind of piecemeal, just going to different spots throughout the city
Yeah.
and milling and resurfacing the worst places and not doing the entire roadway because we don't have the money to do
Yeah.
it.
And you're saying 1.3 mil was cut this year alone?
Yes.
Right.
Current.
So far.
Current 2000.
It's not done yet, so hopefully he'll give me some
Okay.
back.
I just wanted an update on that.
Okay.
All right.
We can get a street listing to you.
How much, have y'all done budget yet? How much have you asked for this budget?
We asked for 3, right at 3, but due to the
For
budget
upcoming.
constraints, he had to cut it 1.3, so we're like at 1.7 right now.
Okay,
For
but
the-
for the budget for next year?
Yeah.
Did
that's-
y'all ask for 3 again?
Yes.
Okay.
And did you get cut yet?
That's what
Same
we got
thing,
cut,
1.3?
1.3 this year.
Okay. For this new year?
Last year,
wants to say
this
something.
particular fiscal year we're in right now,
13,
was-
14?
it was only cut like 800,000. We got
Oh,
2.2.
okay.
But this upcoming budget year, we asked for 3, and it's already been cut 1.3, so we have 1.7 already budgeted unless we get more.
We need to recognize Alderman Martin, would like to make a comment?
With the truck, the new truck,
Infrared truck. How much?
thank you, the infrared truck,
Yes, ma'am.
you can do repairs well, and that might help with some of the paving. If you're behind on the paving, can't you use that truck to fix those streets enough so that they're not in bad shape?
Yes, ma'am. And we have been doing that, but I'll give you for instance, on Mallory Lane, north of
Can
Cool
you speak
Springs.
up a little? I can
On
hear.
Mallory Lane,
Yeah.
north of Cool Springs, you have 3 lanes, and there's an inverted section where all the water runs to that
Yep.
continually deteriorates.
Mhm.
And we've been out there time after time repairing that, but it just continues to come up. So sections like that, we can keep repairing them, but it costs us more to keep repairing them than
Yeah.
it would just go out there and mill it up and
Resurface.
resurface.
Well, I don't mean just to do it in place of paving, but if you're behind those places that aren't like you're talking about on Mallory Lane,
Yes, ma'am.
like on Third Avenue, fix that and it's great. So we don't need any repaving over there, till our time comes.
Right.
So,
Well, his point is your time used to be 12 years and now it's about 25.
Yeah. But what,
just keep
Pick a
that
number.
infrared truck handy.
But what you need to understand, yes, we do a lot of patching when the roads start coming apart. But after 12 to 15 years, when your mix just starts deteriorating, the whole roadway deteriorates. And the water penetrates the asphalt, therefore the road just keeps coming up.
Primary
You can't-
example, 11th Avenue. Homer's patched that road and patched that road, and it is 11th Avenue from Robin Hood's house to Natchez. It's, and there's no reason to do anything now because we're fixing to
Right.
gut it.
Right.
But that's an example of patching and patching and patching.
And that's the reason we keep patching that, because we know it's all gonna be torn up. So, but,
I'm just so thankful to have the truck.
we are too. It saves us on the repairs, because as we went through the budget process, we gave you the numbers. Whereas the old way, you go out there, you saw cut, dig it out, haul it off, bring new in, and it's a waste. This way, with this truck, you actually use the existing mix.
That's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yes, ma'am.
Any more discussion? Okay,
Just need an update on
let's go ahead and vote on item 7. All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes, motion passes unanimously. Item 8, consideration of resolution 2014-34, resolution to extend the City of Franklin's annual contract for stormwater and drainage improvements.
Move for approval?
Second.
Okay, we got a proper motion and a second. Any discussion?
No, sir.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Item number 9, consideration of resolution 2014-35, a resolution to extend the City of Franklin's annual contract for annual signal modifications and repairs.
Move for approval?
Second.
Okay, we've got a proper motion. It's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Question. The signal modifications, how does that play into the study that we've done, for the signals? Aren't we
This modification,
redoing our signal?
this is more for operations and maintenance, and so if we have an emergency pole knockdown like we did on
Right,
Cool Springs
Cool
Boulevard,
Springs?
this group will come and respond to that.
Okay,
We had a fiber break on Matt Catcher last week that served one of our fire stations. This group came out within a 3 or 4 day period to respond to get that
Mm-hmm. okay,
repaired
so
for
it's not
us.
any modification, any repairs. And Joe, you happen to have that pole and those items in stock. So what do we do if we don't have that in stock again? Are you thinking of putting something else in stock for that?
What,
For repairs?
what the contractor will do, will bring out and set a temporary pole till another pole is ordered, another mast arm
If we
pole
have
is
that
ordered.
again?
And we had that in stock because it was left over from another project, and it just happened to be the pole we needed to repair
Yeah,
that.
I couldn't believe
That's the only
that.
reason we had it.
Yeah, okay. All right, thanks.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 10, discussion of Highway 96 West sidewalk project.
This is coming to you just to discuss some alterations that need to be talked about, maybe approved, concerning the Highway 96 West sidewalk that was approved as part of the CIP approval and prioritization and funding. Basically, what it boils down to is, in that CIP, it was estimated out, the project was estimated based on a 5-foot wide sidewalk. Well, in that general area we were in the process, and as you're well aware, as part of the Carlisle Lane Highway, or Board Mill and Highway 96 signal improvement, we put in a pedestrian pathway. And so we wanted to look at the consideration of changing what's been approved to at least a 12-foot wide pedestrian pathway system. Then it was determined too that during the process, it was forgotten about that we were doing that project because they didn't have the pedestrian pathway system in at that time. And so we're looking at needing to connect it back into what is being proposed from Downs Boulevard over to the middle school. So that's the reason for the multiple issues here. There are 4 options, one being doing what you've already decided that you wanted to do as part of the CIP process, which is the 5-foot sidewalk. However, it's more expensive because after the preliminary design, there's more field work that has to be done. Field, like filling in dirt and stuff, has to be done, so it would be more expensive. The
So
second,
is the Carlisle path already budgeted for?
Carlisle Path's in.
That was
So
part of
we're
that.
connecting the Carlisle to where Downs ends?
Yeah, that's what.
part of one of the
There's,
options.
you got the map, Vicki?
We've got it right here.
We've got it
Oh,
right
you
here.
got it, okay.
We've got it right here.
The,
Would you like to
the,
explain it?
yes, the four options, all right, option one is the red from Downs Boulevard back to the east, back to the middle school, but as a 5-foot wide
Okay,
sidewalk.
where's the school on here? Right here?
It's on the very right side.
Right,
Yeah,
right
far
here?
right.
Says middle school. On the top,
Uh,
that big piece of property.
Oh, this whole thing?
Shaded
No,
in.
where your thumb is.
Oh, on the top. I think you just said top right.
Yeah, right there, that's top right.
Okay. You said where my thumb is. My thumb's over
Well, your
here.
other thumb was there at the moment. You got 2 thumbs. Maybe 3.
Okay, so we are, yeah, you never know. Okay.
So
So you're
that's
over
the school.
here and you're
This-
starting from
This
here.
is
Okay.
Downs Boulevard,
Right,
right here.
got it.
That's Downs Boulevard.
Golly, can you read these things?
But anyway,
Okay.
the red is option one as a 5-foot wide sidewalk only. Then option 2 would be that same thing, but as a 12-foot wide pedestrian path. And then option 3 would be adding the purple, which is from Downs Boulevard back out to where you see the heavy black line or the dashed line along 96. That's where you have the existing 12-foot wide multi-use trail. Option 3 is to add that, but
Right here.
but have it, everything as a 5-foot sidewalk. Option 4 is to have everything as a 12-foot wide pedestrian path. Right?
So option 2, well, I've got option 1. Where's option 2?
Option
It's
2 is the same thing.
Same thing as 1, except for being 12-foot wide
12 foot,
versus
yeah.
5
And then
foot.
this purple's option 3.
Option 3
got it.
is that as a 5-foot.
Mm-hmm.
Option 4 is adding that as a 12-foot.
Alderman Blanton?
It's interesting how a project that was 108,000 can go up to almost what?
4?
Almost a $500,000.
Yeah. However,
Like Carlisle itself.
it's interesting to think that the reason why we're doing these sidewalks in the first place is to connect so that these children can walk to school, and it was something that was missing. So if we've got Carlisle already going, I'm calling it Carlisle, if we have from Carlisle already going, and now we're remedying Freedom Middle to Downs, if, it's almost as if we don't go ahead and finish it, we're just duplicating the same problem we tried to fix initially. However, when we so carefully picked our projects that we were gonna fund, we were considering this was gonna be a $108,000 project. So obviously, this has to go to the full board, but I don't know and where this will put us in our red, yellow, green scenario. And if the extra $300,000 is gonna put us in some type of danger zone when it comes to our bond rating and things like that. I'm all for, let's go ahead and do it while we can. We all know, or I'm learning now from experience, better just go ahead and do a job when you're out there instead of coming back and finishing it another time. But it's, to me, it's a full board decision, and it's also when we have to worry about financial.
It is a full
I'm-
board, and what we would be doing is bringing to the board a resolution for what is decided to be done, and then we'll go forward with it.
Okay,
Do we know how many kids walk from,
well, or wood.
or
I don't
would?
really know wood.
So-
Well, Founder's Point is a huge subdivision.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most of them cut through the
Yeah.
backyards over there, to be
Here.
honest.
Well, that's true, but
Well, let me.
I will tell you, kids in middle school would probably love the opportunity to walk on 96 if they had a 12-foot path.
Yeah.
They
Bike
like the
and bike. They
visibility,
can bike.
they, you know,
Absolutely.
spoken like a mother of teenagers right
Can
now.
walk and bike. Bike. Well, okay. Well,
A
I want
bike
to
would have
know
to be-
if you do.
Bikes have to be, there, well, I guess if it's a multi-use, you
Yeah,
might be able,
12.
but I mean.
12
bikes-
foot wide is,
But
Bikes.
bikes
is wide.
normally are out in the street.
Oh, no. Not on
Well,
96. Not-
our-
I'm not saying.
Our
they
Middle
shouldn't.
school
standard-
kid's gonna be
I'm not
riding
saying
on
they
the
should
street.
do.
out
our
there. They
standard
don't.
bike pedestrian path is a 12-foot wide. That's the reason we're
Then-
looking at 12-foot. That's the reason we have set it up as a
They do.
12-foot. We,
Multi-use.
as you're well aware, we're trying to do multi-use, and that is
Yeah.
for the casual biker mostly. Your super bikers, they're gonna be out in the pavement.
Oh, yeah.
Super bikers, the ones with capes.
I used to do that.
They think they are
I do want
anyway.
to, I do want to highlight, we are doing the design in-house to
Right.
reduce the cost of this. So we've not spent any money to date, and that's why we want to have this conversation prior to moving
So
forward.
tell me again, a 12-foot for the entire would be how much more than what we had estimated?
How much more? Well, it's estimated at $469,793, and the original was,
I didn't
What'd
know.
you say, 108?
$161,000
108.
more.
yeah.
Is that right, Ms. Ann?
Oh,
Four,
how many
four,
hundreds?
300,
yeah.
$300,000 more.
793.
361.
What was the original?
108, 220, 108.
What?
So it's a,
No, 108's not even on here.
Yeah, that's option one.
Oh,
in
you're
the
talking about the
background.
original,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the options.
And-
But, well, that's out, so you have to take a look at the options, right?
That is correct.
I mean, it makes no sense to look at that, so if you want to look at the options,
Well, it's
what's
just
your,
saying
what's
that
your
was our
lowest
starting
option?
point.
What?
108 is what we approved in our
That's
All right.
right,
CIP.
that's right.
So that's why we started there, Bev.
Yeah,
Granted, now
okay.
they found there's gonna be a little
So
bit
it's
more.
$347,673. $347,673. But, okay, question. If we would, so, I'm looking at this, and to me, I think option 2 seems more reasonable to me. But if you looked at option 3 or 4, and you're up to 33,000 or 469,000, I mean, are those even options? Where do we get the money?
Yeah, that's the.
Well, and that's something that you can consider too, is that we're doing the design in-house. We'll probably design both sections of it. You can always do another section in another CIP and have it designed sitting on the shelf ready to go, or pursue some type of grant opportunity with it, but.
Safe walk to school,
Safe
something.
routes to school.
Is there
type
any
grant.
grants
Yeah.
available for that right
the
now?
walk to school stuff.
We're gonna look for one.
But let me, remember what we did on the last walk to school? It was, we thought we were gonna pay, what, 20 or
Was-
40,000?
And we paid a heck
And
of a
it
lot
turned out
more.
to be
A big one.
a lot
Yeah.
more than that.
For
Oh.
for a $200,000 grant, approximately is what you would need, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
The big,
Yeah.
the big
It'd be
difference,
worth it.
the big difference too was we didn't
That's
budget
right.
any money for that project. It was stated that it would be fully
Grant.
funded by the grant. We have money budgeted for this. We're doing the design in-house, so
Yeah.
it would delay the project, but it would be an opportunity to try to get it funded using federal
And
dollars.
as I recall, one of the problems was that it was
That's the one
not
that found that out.
designed under their specifications. Is that one of the reasons that the money ballooned on the,
It was
Yeah.
something about the way the stones were set for the
It's the
support.
way it was originally constructed, I think, which was long time ago, so, yeah, it was,
Didn't meet.
but it wasn't,
Wait,
we didn't
no,
do,
it wasn't. That was in the last, what, 4 years?
no, as far as what was,
Fieldstone.
what had to be changed, it was the fieldstone tunnels, which were built back in the
Right, I
late
know, I know.
eighties.
I see what you mean.
So and that didn't meet, so it had to change.
Mhm.
I don't, if I remember correctly, there was no prior design done other than what was originally done. So it had to be altered. So
I still wonder if we could get something from the Franklin Special School District that would tell us makeup of students in
Actually, that's an
Carlisle
excellent idea.
and
What's-
Founder's Point. Because if there's hardly any students,
Numbers.
maybe we could do one section of this.
However, there's also adults that like to walk and bike. It's
Yeah,
not
but
just-
do they
Well,
like
just-
The, the
400,000?
reason, the reason
But-
for this project originally was to be able to connect from Downs Boulevard back
To
to
the
the east,
school.
because we had pedestrian signals, we have not activated, we have no
'Cause there's
place for
nowhere to
anybody to
stand,
go.
yeah.
So we're not gonna activate a pedestrian signal and discharge somebody out to no pedestrian facilities. So that was what initiated this, as far as, well, as we're looking at the east 96, then we need to look at the west also, so.
And however, I mean, we talk about children, and I'm talking about adults. There's adults that live in Carlisle and/or Founder's Point
They
that
go-
might want to walk across and pick up their prescription, or go to Brothers
Right.
Pizza, or go, there's other uses
know,
for
so
these
what?
multi-use things, then it could encourage these people not get in their car and drive across the street.
That's what we're trying to
They have
do,
to
is have
Exactly.
multimodal, and that's
So
what
that
this
first
starts at.
section would accomplish
Well, but so would,
It would
this
do
would further
Fieldstone, I
it.
mean, it would do Founder's Point.
for
but
Founder's
not-
Point,
Not-
but not for
Carlisle.
Carlisle.
Not Carlisle.
I would make a motion that we move this to the full board with all the options intact
Yeah.
and find out if, from Russ
Well-
or whomever, where we would sit financially if we chose either option.
I'll second that. And I think that is there anybody currently, right now, today, looking for a grant, or are we going to go do that?
We're
We will go,
we're
we will
gonna
go
do
do
that.
that because there's no Safe Routes to School grants open right now.
Oh, they're not?
Yeah, I did take a look about 3 or 4 weeks ago to see if there were any out, but I didn't see any. But yeah, we're gonna look for something.
So those are
All right,
start.
And we can do the design. It'll be sitting on the shelf. If we get it, great. If we
Go
don't, we
forth
can.
and look.
Federal grants in October then?
It comes out at various times of the year, there's no specific time.
Sometimes towards the end of the year, too.
Yeah, sometimes.
So, all right.
Okay, so we've got a proper
Well,
motion and a
I think we have-
any
And
more
I
discussion?
just want to say also, you know, we did this, the 12-foot multimodal, you know, thinking that that was going to be what would be done everywhere on Matt Catcher and everything. And, you know, now, even Matt Catcher itself, if it does get funded, may not have any of that on it unless the city pays for it. So, you know, it may or may not be excessive, you know, I don't know. But right now, you know, we're looking at that part of Matt Catcher that's being 4-lane, and the whole business of it looks excessive. And I mean, I've had people even say that to me.
It's a big old median in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not, it's everything on that. But so, let's kind of keep that in mind, that, you know, some of the things were, like all that for Matt Catcher was planned whenever there was a lot more money out for everybody than there is now. You know, because that's one of the things we're saying about the state, that they're looking at not nearly as much money. And so, you know, I think let's be reasonable. I don't know how safe a 5-foot would be, even though
Yeah.
there would be, you know, it wouldn't be just right on the pavement. There would be a strip there. But again, that is something to think about. But I think we ought to be also realistic and not just planning for the best possible thing. Because, and some of it may not even been best possible, it just may have been excessive whenever the Matt Catcher part was first planned, you know. Looking at it now, it seems extremely excessive.
Okay.
Let's vote.
Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 11, consideration of professional service agreement for City of Franklin Contract 2014-86 with Civil Infrastructure Associates to provide surveying services for the R96 West Sidewalk Project in the amount not to exceed, so this is $22,456.
This is survey work that has got to be done for a design to be accomplished, even though the design is in-house. We have to have survey work, and this 22,546 is for that whole section.
Would be all the way to Carlisle.
It's
All
from
the way to
where, yes,
Carlisle?
it's the whole section, from middle school up to Carlisle.
And is this in addition to the other amounts that you've projected?
No, this is part of that amount. This
Okay.
is all
Okay.
inclusive.
Okay.
Oh, this
But-
is
This
inclusive of...
22 is in part of this number. This is design, right-of-way, easements, construction.
So this would come out of that.
It's
if we-
coming out of
okay.
that. Yes, ma'am.
But once we got this done, it goes on the shelf and we could,
Pursue.
it's not going to change
Take it
for the
off.
future.
The only thing
No,
is
because
change
it's
if there's some physical work done out there in the meantime.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we've got any discussion? We've got a proper motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item number 12, consideration of professional service agreement for City of Franklin Contract 2014-0087 with Civil Infrastructure Associates to provide surveying services for State Road 96 East Sidewalk Project in the amount not to exceed $23,985.
Now, this is switching to the east 96. It would be from Pinkerton Park to McCatcher. And this is for the surveying. Again, we'll let you know, it's in the memo, that with the work that has to be done, et cetera, that our staff does not have the necessary tools which is computer software, et cetera, for doing this design. So at some point after we get the survey, then we will be coming back with a professional services agreement for the design of the sidewalk itself.
Okay.
And the difference is this is floodplain, so you start getting into cut fill, which we don't have that, the programs to be able to do that type of analysis to make sure we're doing the appropriate cut and filling to be able
Down by
to
the
do
river.
that work in the floodplain.
So how much of it is down by the river?
Excuse me?
What part of it is
Well,
in
the
the
floodplain extends all the way up along the frontage of those lots,
All
along
the way down?
Ralston Creek,
Yes.
from basically Ralston Lane back to the park.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can remember the
I
river
remember.
flowing there in 2010.
No, it came over a place or two, but it wasn't, I mean, I live out there. It wasn't,
On the other side of the road.
Yeah, on the
From
other side
Eddie
of the road.
Lane, do you remember Eddie
Eddie
Lane?
Lane was-
oh, I know Eddie. Well, Eddie,
All those
Yeah,
houses right
absolutely.
there had.
Yeah, I
Eddie.
remember right
Flowing.
here.
oh,
front
yeah,
yard.
yeah. But that's why I'm asking though.
It
Is
doesn't
it-
go all the way Catcher. It goes
No,
from
no.
Ralston Lane back to
Okay.
Pinkerton Park.
I'd just like to
basically
see
is where you
what the floodplain is there, if you don't, you know, at some time, whenever we're
Okay.
looking at this, because I know that there's floodplain around, but I'm surprised on that all of it would
And is
be.
this gonna be a 5-foot or a 12-foot?
This one is proposed as a 5-foot.
Okay.
Is that what matches?
That matches what's
downtown?
there now, or where you have it out there.
Where it stopped, where the
I
sidewalk
want to
ends.
ask a question about this too. You know, at first we were talking about just to Ralston. That, and then we were saying, oh, well, we could go all the way. Let me tell you, on that part between Buckingham and where it starts back up again, there is a row of trees
Mhm.
that is right there and.
In the right of way.
And that's right, and
Like Delaware Road.
that, we need to look at that very carefully, because those trees screen that part of Buckingham, and I want to,
Buckingham has sidewalks along
Yeah.
the front of it.
I know what you're
no,
talking
no,
about.
no, I'm sorry, from Buckingham Circle, but they're trees, I mean, those things were planted, you know, by J.W. Cross.
I know.
They've taken out the pine trees in through there as part of the project that's going on
Well,
now.
what are the other trees that are there then?
Those
are
low ones
cedars, I
are,
think.
I'm not sure what they are, but they're behind the fence. But
Well,
there's
but if you-
sidewalk in through there.
If you look, no, I know what you're talking about, from Mac Hatcher over to Buckingham.
Oh, you talking about okay, to the west of there.
Exactly to the west
What
of
we're gonna do
that.
is we're looking at just putting the sidewalk, there's a large shoulder there, similar to what you saw Kroger's do
Okay,
up
so in
on
other words, the
96.
shoulder that's paved now.
We'll look at trying to put it
Okay.
there
Put
to avoid it.
I think that would be very important there, because those trees do,
Mhm.
yeah,
It's
That has
TDOT.
to be looked at awful close, because you've got that taper coming down, and that
that's
tends
right.
to start being a dangerous situation.
And it'll all have to be
That's
approved by TDOT. They'll be the ones that finally dictate it too.
Yeah, it's just on one side, sure.
Markers.
Looks like, but the way they draw. it-
Oh, no, I know what you mean. That's part of it. This goes from there on. See, this thing right here
Right,
is really should be over here.
exactly, but it just looks like.
I
they've
know, I
got-
know, I know.
Got the red here and the red here.
No, but
So it's going on the,
because remember, Bev, you
the
can,
north side.
Yes.
oh, yeah, but look, if you look right there on that very
Yeah, it's
edge,
right here.
that's the other
the very
end,
edge
that's
here.
the
Yeah,
other
I know
end of
that.
that, yeah.
But it just.
And there's,
the way they-
there's already a sidewalk there. See,
Where at?
I believe Alderman,
From there over to here is there's a sidewalk
Okay, yeah,
already.
okay.
I believe Alderman Martin would like to make a comment.
I would like for us not to end up with the gap like South Carruthers, and from the bridge to the park. There's a
Yep,
sidewalk
yep.
at the bridge, but at the end of the bridge to the park, there's nothing.
Mhm.
And if you're gonna do all of this, are you gonna add that little gap there?
Mr. York would tell you that he submitted for a TDOT permit months ago to complete that gap, and I believe it's in his annual budget to be able to complete that as soon
Mhm.
as TDOT
Yeah.
gives us the permit.
So
So it would already be done had TDOT issued the permit for it. So it's actively being worked on. Will hopefully happen way before this project. So as soon as Joe gets the approval, he's gonna move forward
Okay.
with that.
Just checking, because, you know, little things like that can be overlooked, and we don't want to end up with a gap.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we've got the.
Those
bus
gaps
rows.
can be expensive.
Okay, did we ever make a motion on
Dean.
this?
Thank
I
you.
don't think so.
Yeah, we need a motion on this if discussion is,
Move for approval?
Second.
okay, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes unanimously.
And how much is this?
Are you exasperated, Bev?
No.
I'm like, no. I'm looking
And
at
how
the
much
money.
did we say the total cost on this would be?
Ay, ay,
Not
ay.
any more than 23.8.
No,
23.
that's just the
That's the survey.
survey.
That's survey.
It was around 500,
It's 555 or something like that.
555.
Oh, I have a question about that. Do we have all the right-of-way down there, or we have to get more right-of-way?
Where, for this,
Yeah, for that.
probably be more right away.
Definitely be slope easements. And we're planning on, once we get it designed, having a neighborhood meeting with the residents.
That's
and-
one reason you're gonna have to get a real good design, is find out where you have where the right of way is and what you have to do.
Yeah, because we want
Stuff like
to
that.
have
But
more
You're gonna
right-of-way.
have to get some right of way.
Will this be
Oh my
curb and gutter, or will it be swales and also?
We're gonna look at both options. We're gonna,
With the budget you're
That-
showing right now.
we
it'll
need to
very-
talk
it'll very
about that,
likely
too.
look- It'll be very likely you'll have the side, the edge of the road shoulder, you'll have a ditch, then you'll have a sidewalk on the backside of the
Okay.
ditch.
part of the scope, when we do the design of this, first thing we're gonna do, like we did with the other project, is do a more detailed analysis of the costs and options.
Yeah,
Right.
give us that.
And take it back
Option,
to
yeah.
the board for an option.
There's nothing out there that's curb and gutter past,
No.
Past it,
Buckingham,
there's-
yeah, that's right.
West
That's-
of Buckingham,
that's
basically.
right.
I
But
mean,
it
maybe that
makes
little
no
bit, but
sense.
that's it.
Spend more
So
money.
that really wouldn't,
Okay.
I don't
It's gonna
think
be more
that'd
money
be.
to get the right-of-way, whatever we do.
Well, you might look, because the state, see,
I have enough.
that's, the state has often gone in and done things out there, and they may have right of way, you know.
That's
Well, the
true.
right of way is basically where your power poles are. That's the edge of the right of way. The poles are typically
Okay, that's a good
right
thing
at,
to know.
right at the edge, right outside the right of way is where they typically put the poles.
So you're gonna come back and say, let's get the poles going and do underground this?
Oh, hey,
You don't know what
we
you're,
would talk about money, talk
I'm
about
cha-ching.
money.
I would love
I'm
that.
not gonna talk about that.
Okay.
well,
Where's, is Vicky taking note?
We need to strike oil.
okay, so we're on our next item, 13. Consideration of Resolution 2014-22, a resolution authorizing condemnation for the acquisition of property for the Franklin Road project.
This is the one that we are, that is being done by the state and Brentwood. The project, they're doing all the construction with agreement we had, the three-party agreement we had when TDOT and Brentwood was we would purchase the right-of-way in the city of Franklin. And this is just getting ahead of the game where we can keep the project going, not have any disruptions to go and get the authorization for condemnation. The properties that we have to get right away from are in Exhibit A. Of course, we do, as you're well aware, we will not condemn unless we have to. And the resolution is written such that city engineer and the city attorney have the ability to settle as long as it's within the appraised values and things like that. And if we have the problem, we take it straight to condemnation. That way we can keep the project moving and not slow down this TDOT project, which we don't want to slow down TDOT projects because they seem to lose the money if we do.
Are all these roads here within the city limits?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Those are the ones
Yeah, those
in
are, 'cause I
ours,
know
in our
that
city.
is
It's
where-
all
where
in
that
yeah,
is,
it's
but-
the part that's in our
Oh,
city.
I don't know about that one. Okay, I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have proper motion, moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yep.
Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 14, consideration of Resolution 2014-29, a resolution awarding the construction contract, City of Franklin contract number 2014-0065 to Underground Pipe and Construction in the amount of $429,999 for the Charlton Green Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project.
This is the Charlton Green project where we're replacing the pump station. It also includes the line that we just, you're just now earlier recommended approval for the design.
Somewhere?
Ma'am?
Sewer.
Sanitary sewer, yes. It has been bid, there was, how many bids, I forgot.
3 bids.
3 bids, this is the lowest, best bid. Recommend approval.
I will give you that, so moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a proper motion moved and seconded. Any more discussion? Yes, Alderman Martin.
Arnold
Want to
Horshack.
come up?
Come
How
up.
long do you think it will take to get this in?
Say it's probably about a 4 to 5 month project. I don't remember exactly what the contract said. Trish, do you remember the contract? 120 days, so 4
When-
months.
When do you anticipating starting?
Well, this has to go to the board for approval, and then typically we have like 15-day sign and notice to proceed after the board approves it.
So you think it'll be by June?
Start by June, it should start somewhere around the 1st of June.
Our goal is going to be to get it done so we get the roadways paved for the wintertime.
Yeah.
This will be going to the board at the 13th meeting for approval. And then, yes, I would say the construction should be able to start right at the 1st of June.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes unanimously. Item number 15, consideration of professional services agreement, City of Franklin contract number 2014-0092 with Smith, Seckman and Reed to provide engineering support and training services for the city's stream gauging stations in an amount not to exceed $10,000.
This is something that we've had several times. Seems like we about get a person trained and they leave. But it is all, other than training, it's also some engineering work has to be done when we do maintenance and repairs on the stations. We hope to have this finalized this time, get somebody trained. These are stations that we have on some of the streams and on the river where we get data that we will use some as far as our permits and things like that. It also shows the effectiveness of our stormwater program.
Do they charge us more for having more than one person trained?
No, but it's not so much having more than one person trained, it's just having only one person able to, in the position to be able to do the work.
Could we pick somebody else, the other duties as assigned on a standby? I mean, do we do this annually so that?
No, we do it.
The contract-
More.
Well, this one actually is coming up a little bit ahead of what an annual would be because we ran out of money due to problems that were encountered with having to go back and fix more than we thought we'd have to fix.
Okay.
That's the reason we set it up on an hourly basis with a not to exceed this time, which we can actually do an amendment if we need to exceed them instead of going through a whole new contract. But we don't expect it to be $10,000, but it's just like when we had the flood, it was a lot more than that. So
Right.
it washed out a bunch of them. So it's just,
We're getting staff back up in the
Yeah.
stormwater division.
but we'll be training both of the stormwater people in the engineering department, actually. So there will be 2 people there
Good.
now, but it's just,
Actually, there'll be 3, hopefully soon.
oh, okay.
Question, is this something we have to do internally, or can we contract all this out?
We can contract it out, but believe me, it costs you a whole lot more. We actually, years ago, had several stations that we contracted with USGS to do, and it cost us a whole lot more money.
Really?
And that's the reason we've reduced those number of stations down to just 2 that we contract, because we basically have to on the river for stream gauging. But they do not have the those particular two do not have the capabilities to do testing, constituent pollutant testing. These are samplers also. Some of them are samplers also. But what we're spending $10,000 here would probably with USGS, because we pay it whether they do a whole lot of work or not, It's an annual contract right now, it's 20-something thousand dollars for just two. We have,
10,000 will cover about one station with USGS.
it doesn't even cover one,
I
actually.
think it's 15, yeah.
It's somewhere around $15,000 each
Annually?
station annually.
Mhm.
Yeah, we just did the contract.
So,
not long ago.
when we get these people in and we train them, how often are they reading these gauges? Aren't we reading these all the time?
We have, basically, as long as our, connection lasts, and right now it's a cell phone connection, it's a dial-up type situation. As long as it's working, we can read it, we can read the
Whenever.
stream flows,
Daily?
instantaneously.
Daily?
Mhm.
Because we have to do
But
that.
as far as the sampling, it's a composite sample that we take. It's a way of doing sampling, and that data is collected weekly from the samplers and
Yeah.
tested at our wastewater plant. And so, that's like a weekly
Yeah.
test.
Okay,
Okay.
So,
All right, I'll entertain a motion for item 15.
Somebody else's turn.
so move.
Second.
Okay, we've got a proper motion and second. Any more discussion?
I don't want to.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, item passes unanimously. Okay, we're down to item 16, street project status report. Anything y'all want to highlight?
I have a question. I gotta leave. I have to excuse myself, but I keep getting asked, Hillsborough Road and Matt Catcher complete dates.
Yeah.
And I can't, I know one's June and one's
Actually,
May,
Hillsborough Road is still set for first week of July,
July.
and Mac Hatcher is still set for the middle of either the 14th or 15th of May.
And they
So I
were
was
hard
right.
to meet that
Okay, May
deadline.
and July. Okay.
May?
May.
May.
Oh, come on.
Yep. They're starting to put down top coat.
No.
Yep, they're shooting.
Yeah, those
for
last
They're
two
working.
Saturdays where you couldn't
Yeah.
cross Mac Catcher.
Exactly, exactly.
So Metcatcher, you're saying it's by the end of May?
We're talking about a ribbon cutting already, so it's.
Oh, gee,
It's
real
close.
surprised. Okay, in July for Hillsborough.
That's correct.
Okay.
We'll have everybody bring a bucket of water for the trees, right?
It may take more than a bucket of water per person. Some of the ones to highlight, or obviously I'll highlight Southeast Parkway and Columbia Avenue, the signal that's open. You can get to Chick-fil-A from any direction now.
Where are we?
You
As-
could
as a-
make a left turn without fear. yes.
Without fear for your life.
Which number are you on?
Columbia Avenue and Southeast
Yes, that's
Parkway.
Yeah, you skipped right over ABC. Well, we did those two.
I will also highlight on that item that as a part of that project, Carl Baughman and some additional staff in-house retimed the whole Columbia Avenue corridor from Downs Boulevard to Mac Hatcher.
Good.
That was done entirely
Wow.
in-house, no consultant, no
There we
additional fees.
Excellent.
We still extend the invitation to take any project tours you'd like to take and come out and we'll take you to see anything you want to see. Just let us know. We'll get you a hard hat and a vest. I'll jump to stormwater. The next item, one of the ones I want to highlight is Victoria Court at Old Ralston Creek at Victoria Court. Had a chance to go out there today, and that contractor, it's two brothers and their son, so it's a four-guy crew, and they're doing an awesome job out there. If you get a chance to swing by there and have a look at that stream restoration, it's
which one is it?
Victoria Court, Ralston Creek.
I don't see. Oh.
That's on
you're talking
stormwater.
about stormwater.
Stormwater.
I'm still on this.
Item 18.
And to jump to sewer, we're still working to actively get a finalized design, or at least some options for Battle Avenue. We're leaning on the consultant to get some of those options to us sooner rather than later. Let's see, and if you have any questions about the sewer, I don't have those in front of me. But I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have about any of those items.
Or any specific project updates.
Yeah. So any more questions?
I guess we should have on the northwest extension of Matt Catcher something about what they're asking for now.
Yeah,
We're working to get some agreements in place for what's to be done, how it's gonna be paid for, et cetera. So, that will, of course, have to come back to you, but we're working with West Haven, the monies that they had promised and things like that. So, until we get to a point of having those ready, of course, there's not a whole lot to talk about, but basically to tell you what is being looked at is negotiations with TDOT that we would use that $1.25 million to pay for the pedestrian trail and no more.
Good.
So that's kind of where we are. There's still discussions going on of who's going to oversee design to change it to a 2-lane. So there's issues that are still being worked on.
But what about that stuff they said about a new environmental
There
study?
has
and
to
all
be a
this
new
stuff?
environmental assessment done, and nothing can really be done until that is taking place.
How much can really change from half of?
They don't need the new design plans. We've already given them our 4-lane design plans, and we gave them a proposed typical. Our consultants already revised the typical for the 2-lane section. They're waiting on the design files now, but as soon as they have those files from us and our consultant, they can go ahead and start the environmental. So they can go ahead and redo the environmental for the whole corridor.
And y'all were talking about maybe using the westerly.
We would be
Well,
using the
it's-
easterly lanes. It's the inside. If you
Easterly
look at the
lanes.
loop, it's
Inside
inside
lanes.
lanes.
Inside
lanes.
Inside lanes.
That's
Okay.
what
Yeah,
being
yeah.
looked at, because that's where the pedestrian path is.
So you'd have a lane on either side of the median?
No.
No. Just the inside lanes on the inside of the median.
Oh, yeah.
You
Okay.
start,
Inside the
look-
turn.
you start looking
I
at the
got you.
medians, and again, you're talking
That's
about
too
more
much.
money.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see what you mean. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, aye.
All right.
We stand adjourned.